News Matt in the building. What's good? I hope you're having a blessed day. Jalen Green, man, oh man, he is out here confusing everybody, and I'm not too sure how to feel about it. There's a lot to it, and there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. We're going to talk all about it, so if you love basketball content and stuff like this, what are you doing? Join the family, hit that subscribe button, and leave a like for more. Now, without further ado, let's get into the news. All right, we all know how the draft went. Jalen Green, he wanted to go number one, and he thought he deserved going number one, but he didn't. If you've been keeping up with Jalen and Cunningham for a while now, the debate of who's the better player and who should go number one dates all the way back to their high school days. I've also seen a lot of people talking about how this matchup with Cade and Jalen, it's going to be the next rivalry in the NBA. At first glance, when I saw it, I thought it was too early in their NBA careers to label it as a rival matchup, but after looking at their fan bases and how passionate the Rockets fans are and the Pistons fans are, I don't think it's a hot take anymore, and it is a rival. The Pistons have always had a big fan base and supporting cast. I also feel like Cade and Jalen, they're two of the most popular players in the NBA right now, even though they're rookies. You don't have to be the best player or even a top 50 or 100 player to be one of the most liked players. For example, we got Alex Caruso, Brian Scalabrine, and many other players like that. There's something about Green and Cunningham that's so likable, and it's hard to hate either of these players. With all that being said, we know how the draft turned out. Cade went 1 and Green went 2. I originally thought when the Summer League got up and going and the players got settled in, the whole debate of who should have gone number one and the entire talk about the NBA draft, it'd be over with, but I was wrong. They are still talking about who should have went number one, and today, some of the statements that Jalen made about Detroit got released to the public. Before I even get into it, I want to make this clear. I wasn't even going to make a video or talk about it. The reason I am is because there's so many people confused, and it's also out of context. This is a perfect and prime example of how you can't believe everything you see on the internet. They only want you to see what they want. Remember that. There's been a couple pictures and quotes from Jalen Green that have been circling around Twitter and Instagram, and here's the main one that's got everybody hot. I wanted to be the number one pick, but as for location, I didn't want to be in Detroit. That quote alone has made many people bad and rubbed people the wrong way, and I've also seen many and numerous comments of people saying, "Shut up, it's over, worry about hooping." I kinda agree with those people, it's over, don't worry about it. I'm also 99% sure though that that quote was from an interview over a week or two ago. Unfortunately for Jalen though, it's just now making its rounds and he's getting some hate. I'm not going to read all the negative comments because it's not that big of a deal. It's just like I said, people saying he's talking too much, he needs to be happy where he's at, and oh yeah, well the Pistons, they didn't want you anyways. I'm not making this video to address those haters and talk about that. The main reason I am talking about this situation is because of this. As soon as that quote was going around Twitter and Instagram, people were finding another quote that Jalen said where he said word for word that he wants to go to Detroit and he wants to live there. You can see why people are frustrated by it. They're going, "Oh, you wanted to live here and come here a week ago, you're just lying and being a hypocrite." You gotta understand this. He was only saying he wanted to go to Detroit and live there before the draft because he wanted to go number one. In the main quote and picture I will be throwing up on the screen, it's made on to seem like Jalen doesn't even want to go to Detroit, but what they don't show you is that's not the full quote. Here's what he really said. Quote unquote, "I wanted to be the number one pick, but as far as location, I didn't want to be in Detroit." That's all that the media is showing you. Then he went on to say this. Quote unquote, "I felt a lot more comfortable in Houston. It felt like a real homey environment. With Detroit, it felt like I was just going back to the G League bubble and I just got out of the bubble." That's pretty much what it was. Right there you see, the reason he didn't want to go to Detroit isn't because of the team or anything like that. It's because he was there for the G League and he got tired of living like that. He was in the G League bubble. I'm assuming going off of this quote, it was in Detroit. That's what I inferred from it and that's what he said. So he wanted to get out of there. Being in a bubble, imagine being in a literal house, apartment, or area for a year. It gets boring and you get tired of it. If you don't want to take my word for it, here's what he also added. In the G League bubble, I didn't really have anything to do but just stay in the gym. I didn't have any time to get away from myself. The only time I had to get away from myself was in my apartment. That's what it felt like in Detroit. I wouldn't be stepping outside in Detroit. There are not many things you can do in Detroit like that. You're going to stay in the gym and then go back to your apartment. Okay, look, I've never been to Detroit myself and I've never heard anything good about it. I've only heard bad things about it. All I'm going to say is there's good things in every city and there's also bad things. It matters how you look at every situation. I'm not going to sit up here and blast Detroit and say, oh, it's really boring. I don't believe in that. Only boring people get bored. There's people that live in LA and say it's boring. It all depends on how you are as a person. If you can make anything fun, then it's gonna be fun. But if you're a boring person, it don't matter where you go. It's not gonna be fun. You know what I'm talking about. I'm sure some of you and your friends, y'all are not in a big town, but you always find things to do and go mess with something. I'm also going to take up for Jalen Green because I don't think he meant anything bad by saying Detroit's boring and there's not much to do. He's a guy that's used to living a movie lifestyle and he's always on the move, and the fact that he couldn't leave the bubble, I think that's what made him get bored of it so quick. The only bad thing I'll say about Detroit is the fact that it may be cool from May to September, but in the winters, I know it is horrendous and I would not want to live there. That'd be one of the last places in the United States I want to live in the winter. One, you're going to be really cold, and two, I know the crime rate there is not very low. I'll just leave it at that. I understand and I see where Jalen's coming from. I think this whole quote or whatever you want to call it, it's got taken way out of context, and even though I get what he's trying to say, a lot of people, you know how they are. We got Karens out there, and even men that are Karens. They're not taking too likely to it, and they're letting him know about it. I've also been reading some of the comments about this on Twitter, and there's been numerous people say stuff like, oh, I'm from Detroit, and I take this offensive. If I see Jalen here, I'm going to do this or do that. Like, come on now. They're trying to make it out and say that Jalen's disrespecting their city. I don't know about all that. I think he was just talking. Not that big of a deal. That's how I feel about it. Let me know in the comment section what you think about all this. I definitely wanted to get this out there for you guys. But with all that being said, that's going to wrap up this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys learned something. If you're new to the channel, what are you doing? Join the family. Hit that subscribe button and leave a like for more. And as always, let's be great. I'm out, y'all. Peace.